Well, hello again. This is Hal Otey coming to you to talk about all things retirement. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of different components that go into making up what I like to refer to as a successful or a fulfilling retirement. And we've done a number of discussions, videos that relate to different aspects about retirement. But what you're going to hear on the video today is really about how do you plan using Social Security. For many of you, you may not know, but there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different ways that people can go about choosing their Social Security benefits, and especially if you're married, there are even more options available. And so it's just being aware of what are some of the things that can be done and how can you truly maximize your benefits on Social Security. And when you think about it, pretty much everybody out there is going to be eligible for Social Security. Now, there's a few people that maybe we're here in Memphis, Tennessee, so if you happen to work for Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, you may have opted out of Social Security. For those that worked in the civil service years ago, so I have some older clients that were civil service before they moved to the FERS, or the Federal Employees Retirement System, in the 80s. So they're drawing civil service, and a lot of them, maybe work part-time or work for a few years and have a little bit of Social Security. But so railroad people, there's a few people that don't have Social Security, but very few. In fact, I would say 98 to 99% of the people that I work with and have over the hundreds and thousands of people that we've worked with over the years have Social Security. And I'm pretty sure that those of you watching this video are going to be just like that. So Social Security is a huge part of, now it may only be 20 or 30% of your retirement income. For some of you, it may be as much as 40 or 50%. It really depends on what level of income you earned at and what other things you have done along the way to accumulate money toward retirement. Some of you may have been fortunate enough to inherit some money or had a business or whatever. But depending on your situation, I would still say that Social Security is going to be, at least a portion of how you need to plan for retirement. And for most people, I would say that over a course of a lifetime, Social Security can pay out anywhere from, $500,000 to maybe $1.5 million, depending on how long you live, whether you're married or single, those types of things. So it's not just a drop in the bucket, it actually has value. And so what I want to do is focus on that today. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look at a sample situation with a couple. In this particular case, this couple is ages 62 for the husband and age 60 for the wife. You'll notice here that in this particular scenario that his what they call a primary insurance amount, or his full retirement age benefit, which in his particular case, because he was born in 1958, is not going to be until 66 and 8 months. His wife, Melissa, because she was born in 1960 or later, her full retirement would not happen until age 67. And you can see she worked part-time, and so her benefit is a little bit smaller than that. And then we also showed a life expectancy. We're going to make the assumption that Frank will live until his age 88. And as in the case is for most situations, the wife is going to outlive the husband. And so we've got Melissa living to age 92. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at how this would flow in. Now, so I'm going to enlarge my screen for you just a minute to be able to focus on this one particular area. So let's assume that both of them take the attitude, which I've heard from a lot of people over the years, look, I don't know how much longer I'm going to live. I don't know how long Social Security is going to be solvent. So I'm going to take my money when I can get it. And so the earliest you can draw Social Security is at the age of 62. So Frank is going to start drawing his in actually this year. 2021 is where we are right now. And what you're going to notice, though, is that his Social Security benefit is going to be reduced from 20, what did we say? So it's going to be reduced from $2,675 down to that $2,017. So he's taking a $640 a month decrease in benefits, and that's going to continue with him for the rest of his life. And then we're going to make the assumption that just like in Frank's scenario, Melissa is going to claim at her age 62, and you'll see her benefit was only $800 a month. However, she'll be also able to claim on Frank's because he's now drawing. That'll give her another 143 on top of that. So the combined amount that they're going to get from all three of those sources is in the ballpark range of, let's say, $3,000 a month. Now, what this system does is it says, what is the lifetime nominal benefit that they're going to get from drawing their Social Security that way? And you can see it's $1,320,000. Now, that's if we get cost of living, and I plugged it in at 1.5% because I personally believe that Social Security is going to have to make some adjustments. There's talk now that they might totally take away the cost of living rider. I'm making an assumption that it's just going to be smaller than normal, so I'm putting it at 1.5%. And obviously, there's things that may change over time, but this is just looking at a snapshot in time of how some of these different options will affect you in retirement. So that's looking at if they both drew it at age 62. So what about taking the opposite view and saying, what if we delay? And in this case, we talk about delaying this all the way out to both of their age 70. So what you're going to notice here is that Frank's benefit by delaying to age 70 goes from his full retirement amount of around $2,650 a month all the way up to almost $3,800 a month, or looking at it when he was at 62 and was only getting a little over $2,000 a month, that $3,780 a month is a huge difference. So that's a lot more money. You'll also know that Melissa's benefit increased as well. So if you look at the total difference there, you're going from roughly $1,360,000 over the course of a lifetime up to $1,700,000. So now you're looking at about a $340,000 difference by delaying. Now, obviously, you would have to make some adjustments, in that mix about how you're going to go about drawing income from other sources if you're not drawing your Social Security, but that gives you at least some idea. So now, one of the things I did not mention to you, but it's worth going back up and looking, this particular planning software, you'll see this, it actually compared over 17,000 different scenarios to look at what would happen over all these different options. And then it says, here's if they draw early, here's if they draw the latest they can draw, which is at age 70. And then we're going to look at a couple of other options. We're not going to look at 17,000, obviously. So that would, and there's no point in it because some of the differences would be so minute, it might be $1 here or there. But the big differences are in a couple of different scenarios. So now, what about if they both started drawing at their normal full retirement benefit? So if we do it that way, what you're going to see is that Frank would be able to start drawing, as I said earlier, at his age 66 and 8 months, and his benefit at that point would be $2,839 a month. So that's a couple $100 a month more than we looked at earlier. Then Melissa, if she waits till her age 67, she would get $1,227 a month plus another $236 drawing on Frank's. So she's getting just shy of $1,500 a month. Now, what you're going to notice here is when you think about it between the two different scenarios that we talked about, so the lifetime benefit on that is $1,576,000, right? Now, if we go back to the beginning scenario, which is to look at what would happen if they started drawing early, you'll see, and I have my highlighters there, I'm going to erase those, but now you'll see that it's the difference in getting $1,300,000 starting at age 62 versus what we just looked at now, which would be a million. Let me get my highlighter back out. 1,576,000. So, going from age 62 to age, close to 67 for both of them, about 5-year difference. That's at least a couple of $100,000 difference. But what we really want to ultimately get to is, where are they going to get the maximum benefit? And that's one of the nice things about the way this planning mechanism that we have works, is that we can actually look at where is the maximum. Now, you'll find that that maximum may not be hugely different from what we were looking at before. So if we go down to where they're going to draw the maximum lifetime benefit, that is going to occur if Melissa goes ahead and claims on her own record at age 67. So she's not going to take it early. She's going to wait to 67 to take hers. Frank, on the other hand, is in fact going to delay to age 70. Now, looking at all the different ways that that pieces together, bottom line is that over that same normal life expectancy, which again is him living to 88, her living to age 92, you're looking at 1,743,000 roughly, versus what we looked at earlier, which was 1,706,000. Now, again, excuse all of my drawings and stuff that I have in there, but at least it kind of gives you an idea. Now, what you have to do then is to just not look at this by itself like we just did, but to come back and say, well, now how do we plug that in to our specific situation? What are the other assets that we have to live on? We have retirement plan assets, we've got 401k plan assets, we've got personal investments, we may have money in savings, and certainly if you have accumulated a decent amount of money in savings, that would probably be the best place to draw from, because let's face it, if you delay taking Social Security from age 62 to age full retirement age, which could be 66, 66 and a half, or whatever, you're looking at about a 6 to 6.5% increase per year that you're going to get for the rest of your life. But if you delay that beyond your full retirement age, then you get an extra 8% per year. Now, I'm going to reduce the size of my screen here for just a minute, and I want to summarize what we've just talked about on these planning benefits, and then I'm going to go to one other thing before we close this out. So what you'll notice here is this is looking at the full scenario. So here's claiming early, that's starting at 62. Here's if they claim at full retirement age, which would be 60, almost 67 for both of them. And the one where they get the maximum is if Frank delays to 70, she starts at full retirement age. But you'll notice that if Melissa claims hers early at age 62 and Frank waits to 70, you're looking at, still just shy of $1.7 million. But again, that's over the course of a lifetime. So, it could be that Melissa going ahead and drawing hers at age 62 might be beneficial and personally, I would not do it unless you're retired. So if Melissa's not going to retire really until she's 65 and she's still going to work, I would say don't draw, because there are some offsets for drawing while you're working, which we didn't get into. So that's another thing you need to consider. But I would personally not draw Social Security unless you're still working beyond age 70 and you want to go ahead and start getting those benefits, because then there's no offset. But it might be that this roughly $1.7 million is just as advantageous as the $1.75 million, because Melissa gets to start drawing hers, 5 or 6 years earlier, and that gives them some income, so they do not have to start withdrawing from their other retirement accounts quite as quickly. But then what I'm going to also do now is I'm going to scroll down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one other report here. Now you'll notice that this is a way that we customize these reports for clients, and as we talk about in our masterclass that we do, there are some things that we'll do for people who want to work with us on a more personal level, but so we can actually run a customized report like this. But what I wanted to show you, and I'm going to enlarge this here for just a minute, is that you'll notice that for people that retire after age 67, you'll see that there's an 8% increase every year for delaying increase. And you'll notice in this particular case, we just showed age 66. But if you retire prior to that, and again, I'm going to enlarge that just a little bit again so you can see that. Let me get rid of my markings again. But you'll notice now that if they retire early, that they lose 6.7% of their income. For people that were born prior to 1954, you're looking at a 25% decrease in your benefit if you draw it starting at age 62. For somebody like Melissa, you'll see that she's actually going to be giving up 30% because her full retirement age isn't all the way out to age 67. So it does make a difference, and you have to understand that those things are in the Social Security system. When you meet with a Social Security representative, they can give you basic information, but they cannot help you with planning, and they cannot help you make decisions. They can just say, here's what's going to happen. So again, as we've discussed in the past, I mean, all things retirement really relates to a lot of different components and a lot of different things that factor into, what makes up a successful retirement. And so as you're thinking about how are you going to plan out retirement, hopefully you found this video talking about Social Security to be helpful. Hopefully it opened your eyes in a couple of areas. And like I said, if this is of value to you, I would say subscribe to our channel below, click on the notification bell. And for sure, if you're in the process of starting to think seriously about planning for retirement, go to our masterclass. You'll be able to find that in the section about our video here, and go to that masterclass and walk through that, and you'll get a better idea of how all these different components fit together as it relates to your income, your expenses, inflation, investments, rate of return, how you take your income, how you maximize things like what we just talked about with Social Security, so that you can factor in all of the things that go into making up what hopefully will become for you a solid and a fulfilling retirement. And to help you answer that question, am I going to be okay? So again, subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell. I'd love for you to go see the masterclass and join in with that. But for now, I'm Hal Otey signing off, and we do these videos once or twice a week. And so we'll be continuing to put out content for you out there as it relates to all things retirement. Have a blessed and a wonderful rest of your day.